If you are a frequent visitor of the Corozal Bay, especially the area located near the House of Culture, then we are sure that you have noticed the watchtower located in the vicinity. And yes, you are right, it is non-functional, or should we say, was non-functional. We say was because the watchtower is now back on the job, full-time doing what it was intended to do. Telling time, Karel Heredia reports.
The building that houses the Corozal House of Culture was originally built in 1886 as a market for the Corozal town, and it was used as such for a century. The building also came with a functional watchtower, which unfortunately began to deteriorate due to poor upkeep. For 16 years, the watchtower was unable to tell the time, but that has changed and now it is fully functional.
Today we are celebrating International Museum Day. All the houses in the country, including the Museum of Belize, so each House of Culture in their own way is bringing an activity or an event alive. The Corozal House of Culture, because this year is the 130th year of this structure that we're housed in, we wanted to honor the building and the House of Culture. So the idea of reactivating the clocks came about in our clock tower. They have been dormant for about 15 years, so it's wonderful to have them up. Since we've been here 4 years now, a lot of people in the community would ask, are the clocks working? So it's something that's been on the back burner, and we're able to do it for this particular occasion.
The idea to reprogram the four-face watchtower came in celebration of International Museum Day and to commemorate the building's 130th anniversary.
Belize forms part of the 120 countries that are celebrating today's event. And to commemorate International Museums Day in Corozal, today is the reactivation of the four-face clock that was back in colonial days, where the citizens back in the 18th and early 19th century would have access to time, you know. Typical architecture design from European structure, because the first clock was brought from England in the early 18th century. So we have the clocks working as of today. So today we're celebrating museum, International Museum, and at the same time joy in our hearts that is the reactivation of the clock, you know.
Okay. How long was the clock inactive?
The clock was inactive for 16 years.
While the watchtower is now back on the job full-time, this would not have been possible without the assistance of technician Ali Shandes, who says that the previous system was totally outdated.
The clock was running on an internal battery that if the power went off, it would wait 12 hours and start again. So that one failed. And the next thing it failed, apparently some power mistake and mismatch burned all the motors. They have these little motors here. And so after we were studying the whole thing, we decided we go to a newer technology. We changed totally to the battery operating system with a radio control. That means they have a little radio inside that every 3 days or 2 days they go online and check the time to the zero or to the what time it is, and adjust themselves. The lighting system was out, so we put some LED lighting system, so they don't need to change the bulb again, and the power usage comes down to 1/20th. So hopefully it can give a clock good life for a while.
Reporting for CTV3 News, Karel Heredia.
The Corozal House of Culture also held an open day in honor of International Museum Day. The activity featured educational videos and the original postcard collection of James Lindsay, which is more than 90 years old.